In October 2019, the Demon Headmaster was brought back to terrify a new generation of kids, with Nicholas Cleves taking on the titular role. It was an official continuation of the original show, over 20 years since it ended, and as someone who never saw the previous series, that never felt like an obstacle that got in the way of me watching it. They managed to connect the two masterfully, with the students investigating the headmaster's past and being led to his old school, St. Champions, where they discover a note from Dino Hunter. I was excited, not alienated, by it being a direct sequel, and it made me want to go back and watch what came before. It helped that I was in a similar position to the characters we were following as they unravelled the mystery, and it made the headmaster feel more like a timeless, inevitable threat when we learned this was just one of his many schemes. That's what a direct sequel that comes many years after the last one should do. Use continuity to your advantage and have the past aid the present story, not hinder it. Taking over Hazelbrook Academy and using his hypnosis to control students, staff and parents, the headmaster intended to put the whole country under his spell by making the Prime Minister hire him as the new Director of Education. His plan was thwarted when the kids hacked the broadcast and a hologram of his previous form attempted to destroy his new body, as his face was now known to the public and security services. Saved by the kids, the headmaster was incarcerated before some idiot who didn't get the memo about him being hypnotic broke the rules to offer him a solicitor and a fair trial. There'd be no such thing as a fair trial for a man who can control the judge, but the prison guard found that out the hard way as the headmaster seemingly hypnotizes him into letting him go. Adapted by Emma Reeves, The Demon Headmaster was a huge success for Cbbc, and it successfully revived the classic show for a new audience. It came at just the right time for me, during a period of grief, and as I waited for more, I went back and caught up with every single episode. Based on the books by Gillian Cross, there was more source material for them to work from, and the plan was to take certain elements from the next book, Mortal Danger, and include them in a second series. The show was recommissioned for at least another series, but that plan never came to fruition, and you can probably guess why once I tell you that the first series didn't finish airing until December 2019. Enjoying the video? Why not like and subscribe so you don't miss out on the next one. If you want to support the channel, check out my Patreon or Ko-fi page. Links are in the description below. 3 months after the Demon Headmaster's first series was released, the entire world was put into lockdown because of the COVID pandemic. Life came to a halt for everyone, everywhere, and everything didn't just suddenly return back to normal. Studios like Universal and Disney took one big step for them and a giant leap for the film and TV industry, as they were amongst the first to learn how to adapt to the restrictions so they could recommence filming safely. They paved the road so others could follow, and by June 2020, we got an update regarding the Demon Headmaster Series 2. Another series had been greenlit, and the writing team were beginning to work on scripts, but filming had been postponed, and the BBC were reviewing all productions on a case-by-case basis. We know for a fact that they still intended to make it as late as November 2020 because it was announced as one of their commissions, but after that there was radio silence. Feel free to correct me if I've misremembered this, but I seem to recall that the BBC never made an official announcement stating that the Demon Headmaster Series 2 would not be going ahead. I can't find any articles on the BBC Media Centre to contradict me. The only thing I could find was an archived tweet from Emma Reeves, which was posted on the 8th of July 2022, 2.5 years since the show finished airing. In response to a fan, she explained that the series they wrote was a direct sequel to the first one and wouldn't work now the cast had grown up during the many delays caused by the pandemic. While I applaud her artistic integrity, I'm not entirely convinced she's right when we live in a world where it's normal for teenagers to be played by 30-year-olds. It may get some criticism for doing so, but Stranger Things didn't just end because the ages contradicted the timeline. Now, I don't know what exactly she had planned or how much the cast had aged, but it's a huge shame that things didn't work out for the Demon Headmaster. Reeves has been involved in many of my favourite childhood shows, from Tracy Beaker to Young Dracula and Eve. Although I was 16 at the time, the Demon Headmaster managed to get me hooked and invested in the series, and it appeals to adults and children alike. It was a show I needed at that point in my life to distract me from everything else that was going on, and I was very disappointed that it became a casualty of COVID. If it weren't for the pandemic, the BBC would have gone full steam ahead with the second series, and who knows how long it would have lasted for. I'm not sure what the future holds for the Demon Headmaster, or if I'd even watch it if it came back without kids of my own. My concern is whether it could be an official continuation, or if they'd have to start with a clean slate. There is only one more book for them to adapt, and that's supposed to be a sequel to the first series, with Lizzie and her friends returning to fight the Headmaster. Considering how the original show condensed 2 books into 3 episodes each, and how television has changed in the years since, there is merit to the idea of starting again from book 1 and making a new adaptation that allows the story time to breathe. However, a soft reboot could also work, providing someone can continue the story past the source material and come up with a logical way for the Headmaster to exert his power over the nation, because the security services should be aware he's capable of building himself a new body and hypnotising people through the TV, as he's a known threat to the modern world. But what do you guys think? Were you disappointed that the Demon Headmaster never came back? Would you want it to return in the future? I've been Media Lord. Until next time, goodbye.